Hello, everybody. Welcome to Talk About Houses. I'm Todd.
I'm Juana.
You probably noticed a couple things.
Todd is wearing a different jacket.
Wearing a different jacket. So this jacket I have had for over 30 years.
Okay.
I got it had it custom made in Korea when I was in the Marine Corps. I was stationed over at Osan Air Base. We were on detachment out of there for a while. It's raw silk. It's pretty nice. And it still fits. So I'm literally the same size I was when I was captain in the Marine Corps.
There you go.
The other thing we did is we had some comments about the camera angle, so we kind of lowered the camera a little.
Okay.
So we'll see. As you guys know, we take your input some of the time, not all the time. Okay. We just did a national update for next year. We're going to talk about Vegas. And what we have is we actually have a report that came out about Vegas. And then we're going to compare it to some actual data so you can see why sometimes when you get these numbers where you talk about median, it doesn't always jive to what's actually happening. Okay. All right. So.
Okay. So what I want to point out in this report is that this is for the whole Vegas MLS. This is not for just Las Vegas Raw, which is what we usually talk about. So the numbers are going to be different than the numbers that we've been speaking with you about.
Okay, so it says LVR report, this Las Vegas Realtors, shows home prices rising, housing supply shrinking. So this is the LVR housing statistics for November 2023. Now this is forward looking. This is what they're projecting. Home prices will rise and house supply will shrink. Tell them the little areas. What comprises our MLS?
Okay. So our MLS is made up of Las Vegas. It's made up of Paradise, Henderson, Summerlin, North Las Vegas, Mesquite, Pahrump, Boulder City, a whole bunch of, it goes all the way out to, it takes in some other rural areas. So it's,
ton of rural areas.
So it's really a lot bigger than just Las Vegas. The reason we always talk about just Las Vegas is that so we can spot trends, right? Because if we're always looking at the same exact little pocket, we can spot trends easier. When you're talking about rural areas and other areas, you tend to get a lot more distortion because there are less properties. So any movement or no movement has an outsized effect.
Yep. Okay. So here is the first piece of data. The LVR reported the median price of existing single-family homes in Southern Nevada through its MLS service during November was $450. That's up 4.4% from $430,000 November last year. Local home prices are still below the all-time record of $482 set May of 2022. Now that sounds worse than it is, and I'm going to go ahead and actually show you the chart. Now what this chart is this is the price per square foot for homes. Now remember, those numbers made it sound like massive change in prices. But when you go by price per square foot, you get actually a completely different story. So if you look at the diamonds, now this is just for Las Vegas. The diamonds are the home prices today, and then that all the way to the right. Then the next diamond to the left of that is a year ago today. So adjusting for just today. Now remember, home prices tend to go up in the spring and they drop a little in the fall. Then they go up in the spring and drop in the fall. So they do this little wavy thing going up. This sort of shows that, but it was a little bit distorted during the pandemic because home prices kind of just went up. Well, what was weird was we had this spike when interest rates went from 3 to 6%. A bunch of people rushed in and pushed up home prices extremely artificially for a short period of time. So when you look at, if you could almost draw a line between those little triangles, the little diamonds and prices going up, but that peak right there isn't a real, like home prices weren't always worth, $275 a square foot. It was a artificial home prices. I'm trying to get this 3% mortgage closed before home price, mortgage goes to 7 or 8%. So people were overpaying, and then it went back to normal. It was literally like a mini bubble. But everybody's home wasn't worth that. Just only the homes that were worth that were the homes that sold literally in about a 2-month period.
Correct.
Okay. So, but even with that, when you break down to price per square foot, you see a much that we're actually higher than we were last year, that we're higher than we were 2 years ago for home prices in Vegas, right? And that's just really a result of looking at comparing. And why is it different comparing median? What's important about median?
Well, median is that middle number, so half the homes are worth more, half the homes are less, and it's that middle happy number. But of course, depends on the mixture of homes that turn over as to where that number is.
Okay, now here's the next one. Meanwhile, the median price of local condos and townhomes sold in November was $275,000, up 5.8% from 260 in November, so year over year it was up. But it says that's still down from the all-time high of 287 set in August. Well, if we look at that chart, first of all, here's the chart. The all-time high in August means August of 2023. Mm-hmm. Because if you look back at August of 22, we're higher than that. But remember, with housing did a different thing. The other thing too is this chart really shows the seasonality. Those humps are basically the spring, late spring, early summer, when home prices are higher. So you can see this chart shows that seasonality. So this idea that, my home prices are dropping every single year across the country, home prices are down in October, November from what they are in the spring every single year. You could look up Zillow has done tons of articles, the best time to buy a house. Google best time to buy a house. You'll find a Zillow article that says it's like October 10th, right? Juana, this chart is actually very telling of what cyclicality is. These are not little housing crashes. This is just the normal ebb and flow of the housing market. Right. But you can see that it goes up and down, but when it goes up more. Right. And we're going to see in the spring, we'll do another update in the spring, and you're going to see these numbers. The price per square foot is going to go up even higher. Mm-hmm. Right?
Right.
So that's pretty much how it's going. Okay. The next quote is this one right here. By the end of November, LVR reported 4,353 single-family homes listed for sale without any sort of offer. Oh my God, Juana, that means these houses are just sitting there. These are like the new homes that are sitting there. Hang on a second before you answer. The new homes that are sitting there without any offers. That's down 40.7% from the same time last year. So that makes it sound worse. That we have 4,300 homes in the whole, this is the whole MLS. Remember, we have 700,000 houses in the MLS in Southern Nevada. 4,300 have no offers. It's down 40% from same time last year. So that meant that there were 7,000 or something last year, right? Likewise, 1,261 condos and townhomes listed without offers represents a 22.8% decline from 1 year earlier. How do they know?
Okay. So when they say without offers, they mean without accepted offers. They don't mean without offers. Oh. Okay. They have no way of knowing whether there are offers or offers are being negotiated. Maybe there are multiple offers. They have no way of knowing that, because while we can put in the MLS that we have offers or we're negotiating offers, we don't. Okay.
No.
I have yet to see somebody do that. What we do put in the MLS is once we have an accepted offer. And this also doesn't consider the homes that are being sold off market. So there's all kinds of things going on. But the point is that 4,300 homes simply don't have accepted offers. Doesn't mean that they don't have offers. I would wager there are several hundred of them that do have offers that are being negotiated at the time that this data was pulled.
I was on the MLS committee when we agreed to add this field called offers. Like if you get offers, so if you get an offer, you had to go put in there that you had offers to let people know. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't going to agree to it. They were going to outvote me. But I said I would agree to it under one circumstance if you guys will agree that you cannot make this field mandatory. Because now it's too hard to enforce. Because let's say I get an offer. And I go, oh, look, an offer's coming off the fax machine, or it just showed up on my email, and my phone rings. Mm-hmm. And I go, hello. And they go, hey, do you have any offers on 123 Elm Street? And I go, yeah, I have an offer right here. They go, oh, it's not in the MLS. You're in violation. I'm reporting you to the MLS. You didn't check it in the MLS. You have an offer. I literally just came in. I haven't had time to go to my computer, put it in there. And I explained that to them at the MLS committee. I was on it for 3 years. You were on it too. Mm-hmm. And they agreed to do this. So no one uses that field. No. So when they say there are no offers of any kind, They don't know. It just means it's an ER, active status, exclusive
Right.
right to sell. It's active. They don't really know.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Here's the interesting fact.
Okay.
The sales pace in November equates to just under a 3-month supply of properties available for sale. Last year at this time, Southern Nevada had more than a 4-month housing supply. Juana, which is faster sales in a shorter time on market? More than 4 or 3?
3.
What's normal market?
Normal market's about 6 months.
Okay. So what do you think we're going to have in your prediction of all predictions 6 months from now? Call it April, May.
We're going to have less than 3 months.
How long, when an average house comes on the market, how long do you think it'll be before it gets its first offer?
So right now it's taking about 60 days to get most homes under contract.
Okay.
I think in the spring it's going to take more like 6 days rather than 60 days.
Okay.
Because we're going to have, again, lower interest rates. We're going to have more people understanding that it's buying season. They've been on the sidelines for a long time. They've been waiting for good inventory for a long time. So the good houses will get snapped up relatively quickly. The houses that are less desirable obviously will take longer.
Here's another quote. During November, the LVR found that 29.8% of all local property sales were cash transactions. 30%, 3 in 10 are cash.
Mm-hmm.
That's up from 0.8% a year ago. That's still well below the May 2013 cash buyer peak of 59.5%. Suggests the investors have been less active in the local housing market. Home prices in 2013 were much less. Mm-hmm. It was much easier to take down. And a lot of homes were still under the limit where you couldn't get a loan. So kind of artificial.
Right. Right. And, and when I said that, homes are going to sell in 6 days, I don't mean every home. I mean, desirable homes will sell in 6 days. I think, the average time on the market in the spring will be probably about 30 days.
This is still great. If 30% of all homes are being purchased cash, that means cash buyers are, they're affirming the price of the homes because they're not biased by a monthly payment. They're saying, can I take my cash, buy a house, and let's say it's an investment property, can I get a reasonable return at the current price and current rents? And 30% of homes, so basically 1,500 houses a month, are being purchased by investors, a third of them, saying these make good, decision investment property. They're not going to other markets to find those deals.
Correct.
Right. And they do want to, right? Some investors stay in, we have investors we work with that only are in this market because they live here.
Right.
We have investors that are in other markets because they just find an opportunity there and they go over there.
Right. And there are people who just buy investment property here because of other reasons. For example, because homes tend to appreciate, homes tend to be less maintenance. There's, we don't have snow, we don't have hurricanes, floods, and that sort of thing.
Famine, we don't have locusts.
So it makes it easier to maintain properties here. So there are all sorts of reasons why people purchase investment homes here. And of course, as far as being owner occupants, people move here for all kinds of good reasons, like Vegas is a nice place to live, low property taxes, no state income tax, all kinds of good things like that.
When was the last time we had fire and brimstone? It's been a while.
It's been a minute.
Okay. All right. Here is another. This is actually my favorite quote from the whole thing. The number of so-called distressed sales remains near historically low levels. LVR reported that short sales and foreclosures combined accounted for 1.1% of all existing local property sales in November. That compares to 0.5% a year ago, 0.6% 2 years ago, 0.8% 3 years ago, 2% 4 years ago, 2.6% 5 years ago. Juana. So we're half to a third of 4 to 5 years ago. During the housing crash, 60% of all sales in Vegas and in the MLS were either a REO or short sales. Right. 60%. We have 1/60th. What about this notion that all the foreclosures were going to crash the housing market when 1.1% of all sales are a foreclosure or a short sale?
Well, they were simply people making up stories to get eyeballs.
Okay, and let's talk about distress sale. Does that mean these homes are trashed?
Absolutely
They're
not.
completely ruined.
No. So a distress sale is usually not the property, it's the circumstance. So that means that, for example, somebody is behind on their mortgage, somebody has, somebody's passed away, and there's a probate, there's a court case, something like that. So it generally has more to do with the circumstance than it has to do with the property. Most properties in Vegas are actually in pretty good condition because remember, Vegas is a relatively new city. So for us, a property that's 30 years old is ancient.
Right. Okay. And just so you know, that number is not likely to increase. The forward-looking number, which is 90-day late, is the lowest it's ever been. So moving forward, short sales and foreclosures are going to be even less. And you can see this number is dropping. It was 2.6%. It dropped a little bit. It went to 1.1. But remember, the numbers we're seeing today, these foreclosures were actually started in 2019. It's taking 4 years to foreclose here. So when we go to 2025, 6, 7, these numbers are going to keep dropping off to, point something. It won't be a big deal. Okay. The total value of local real estate transactions tracked through the MLS during November was more than $835 million for homes and $133 million for condos, high-rise condos and townhomes. Compared to 1 year earlier, total sales values were up 3.8% for homes and 6%. So the total value is up for homes and condos and townhomes. $835 million sounds like a lot, but then we have 14,000 agents.
Right.
We have about 1,200 real estate brokerages. Now, some brokerages are large brokerages, and some brokerages are a broker and one agent or just maybe one person, right?
Right.
Okay. Do you know the numbers in November, how much you guys did in the month?
Yes.
Okay. How many? So it's 835 was the whole MLS, and then 133 for condos. How many did you guys do of that?
We did about combined single family and high rises and all that. We did about combined 7%.
7% of what?
Of the almost $1 billion that you're mentioning.
So like 60 to 70 million.
Yeah.
Of sales.
Yeah.
How many agents did that?
I think we had 12 agents that had closings that month.
12 agents had closings that was basically 7% of the MLS.
Yeah.
Now that's just a little misleading because it's all luxury. So
Right.
these were high. These were not a bunch of $400,000 houses that they did.
No.
They didn't sell 600 houses that month.
No.
Okay. It was probably 20 or something?
Probably not even that.
Okay. That's pretty crazy. We're pointing this out to show you how if that number was to change, if more high-end homes were to sell and less low-end homes, it would make home prices look like they're going up when they're not, right?
Right.
That's why you have to look at price per square foot. You can't just go with the median, because if you just looked at the median, you could say home prices have gone up by 20 times in a year because a super high-end home sold and that ended up being the median home. Right. But that is, what do you see going forward? Do you just see more sales happening?
Yes.
Is it picking up?
Yeah, it's interesting because we started out in the spring and we were really concerned about what 2023 would turn out like for us. And, we had a strong spring and we kept waiting for the shoe to drop, so to speak, right? We kept waiting for the volume to slow down, and it never did. We started out the year strong and we kept on going, and rather than slowing down, we picked up steam. And, the number of closings and the dollar amounts just kept rising as the year progressed. And this is turning out to be the biggest year we've ever had.
I think next year will be the biggest year you ever had because sales are going to be up 14%.
Right.
That's the estimate. 14% more sales next year than this year.
This year is the biggest year we've ever had. And for us, and, clearly not for a lot of people. A lot of people struggled this year. We didn't. We absolutely crushed it this year.
That's crazy. Here's another stat. In November, 83% of all existing local homes and 88.2% of all existing local condos and townhomes sold within 60 days. 2 months on the market, gone. Basically all of them. The only ones that didn't sell were probably overpriced.
Right.
That compares to a year earlier when 73% of all homes and 74% of all condos sold within 60 days. To me, that's just mind-boggling that anybody could, that knows anything about real estate could think that's a slow market.
Yeah.
Oh, home sales are the slowest they've ever been. Well, the low number of transactions, but when 83% of all houses sell within 60 days, that's crazy fast.
It is.
And I don't know if we have numbers on multiple offers, but it's got to be 40% have more than one offer.
Right. I mean, so it's interesting because the multiple offers numbers are all anecdotal, right?
Right.
Because there's no statistical way to keep track of them. But we do know from, anecdotally speaking, we do know that properties tend to have multiple offers a lot of times at the same time. So what I mean by that is, so let's say that a property is listed for a period of time. So it'll get offers like, it'll get an offer in the first week and maybe that offer won't go anywhere. Maybe it'll get an offer again in the third week and so on, right? So properties get multiple offers in two ways, either over a period of time or all at once. So multiple offers all at once means that the buyers are having to compete against one another to get the house.
Okay. This is the inventory chart. This is for Las Vegas. If you go all the way to the right, you see that little diamond. We are at incredibly low inventory levels already. Now remember, this chart looks very smooth because it's a 90-day average. Mm-hmm. And you're probably, if you look at every other year, the inventory is starting to drop at this time of year. Mm-hmm. Okay? And when inventory drops, this is when it gets super competitive and there's home prices are going up like crazy. Now, if you look at the bottom two, in the middle where the lowest are was the spring of 21 and the spring of 22, which were the most competitive, highest prices in those time frames. It looks like we're going there again. Mm-hmm. So it looks like this is going to start dropping. Now you say, well, how do you know it start dropping? It looks like it's still going up a little bit. Mm-hmm. And it does. But what I did was I went into the real-time market profile and I looked in here. Now, what's important about this real-time market profile, we're going to start with inventory because inventory is a leading or lagging indicator.
It's a leading indicator.
It's a leading indicator.
Yeah.
On December 1st, we had 2,638 houses available for purchase in Las Vegas. Today, which is just a couple weeks later, 3.5 weeks later, it's the 26th, 27th, we have 2,400, which means we have lost 200 homes more have sold than have been placed on the market. So maybe 400 homes went on the market, but 600 homes sold. So inventory is already dropping. So that smoothed out 90-day average is still averaging in homes from 90 days ago. Mm-hmm. This, I think, is going to be pandemonium in the spring. The other thing is the price per square foot has stopped declining. Mm-hmm. That is leading indicator because those are deals that were done 2 months ago. We don't really know about the deals today, right? Mm-hmm. That are being. The other thing is the median list price starting to go back up again in the MLS, and it takes a lot to move that because that's of the whole MLS. Mm-hmm. So you just add a couple high-end properties doesn't really change. You have to add a bunch of them, or you have to have more homes coming on the market at higher prices. I think this inventory thing, I think it declines every month until April, and I think it's going to be an absolutely brutal spring for buyers in Las Vegas. Well, absolutely brutal.
And it's interesting, anecdotally speaking, we're talking with sellers and their position is that, well, interest rates are going down, so they're going to have a higher list price because the way sellers see it is if interest rates go down, they can ask for more money because the payment for the buyer is the same.
Okay.
So, for those of you that were thinking out there, well, interest rates are coming down, home prices are going to stay the same, so my payment will go down. That's not the way sellers see it. Sellers are looking for that payment to remain the same, so they're looking to capitalize on the lower interest rates by asking more for the house.
The report says home prices are rising and the housing supply shrinking. Mm-hmm. Does not take a genius. Does not take a PhD in economics. Does not take John Maynard Keynes himself to say home prices will rise. Prices will rise as supply shrinks. Okay. So yes, home prices are going to go up. I don't know what they're going to go to, but I would say this. If we get home prices up to the artificial bubble that we had in 2022 that the crash bros all are hanging on to is homes were always sold for that. Anything less than that is a housing crash, right? I think it's going to be supported by, I think we're going to have 2 more years of declining interest rates. I'm very bullish on housing. We're very fortunate to have grabbed another investment property fairly recently. I think it's just going to get harder and harder going forward. And if people who have been waiting, you can't time the real estate market. I'm not saying now's a great time to buy. We said it was a great time to buy in the fall of 22. We said absolutely you should buy in the fall of 22. You could have got a deal on a house a little bit, probably 5 to 8% less than the going rate 6 months prior. A lot of people still waited, and they lost out.
Well, the right time to buy a house is different for everybody. So please remember that. Make sure that it makes sense for you. Make sure you can afford it. Make sure you have a financial safety net. Make sure that everything that is important to you is aligned so that you can have a great experience being a homeowner. We want everyone to be a homeowner, and we want everybody to have a great experience. So we're not telling anybody to buy. The right time to buy is different for everybody. Do you have anything else?
What do you think about my raw silk custom-made jacket that I had made in Korea? It's pretty nice.
Really nice. What do you think about his new iPad? Yes?
Oh, yes. The new iPad. This is a brand new iPad just got today. Fortunately, as soon as I restored it, because I had already grabbed all the slides and everything was already on here. So it's brand new. It's a brand new iPad.
So yes, if you want to contribute to his iPad fund, please feel free to tip him. We appreciate it.
Or subscribe and share the video. That helps us out too.
Exactly. Subscribe, share the video, hit the notification bell, like the video, and leave us your real estate related comments. We appreciate them.
Oh, or if you have a house you need to sell in Las Vegas.
Yes.
We would love to help you with that. That would help out everybody. It would help us, it would help you, and it would help some buyer move into a new house.
Yes, and subsidize his iPad.
Yep.
All right. Great seeing you guys. We'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.
Bye.